Okay, so I'm arriving here, Bob's Big Boy. It's Friday night after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, I guess. I don't think it's gonna be too crowded. It looks like it's pretty non people from Thanksgiving just chilling at home probably, but whatever. So Bob's Big Boy. I'm probably gonna talk in the camera afterwards, just expand a little about yesterday and how it applies to my entire life down to 5 years old, because out of everything that's these reoccurring things done to me on a daily basis, nobody ever admits to why they're doing it, okay? So I never have anything to work with. Okay, there's a good amount of hot rodders here. So I never have anything to work with, and the guy flat out said, "You violated my privacy with a delusional type of thing." Okay, so anyways, I don't know if the camera can see the hot rodders or whatever, so I'll pick up the cameras as I park. So this is Bob's Big Boy in Burbank. And we got some good amount of hot rods and hoods up and okay. So anyways, I'm just gonna park here, but and watch out for this guy. And so anyways, I'm gonna sort of break it down based on, hey Kevin, you know, why is this happening? Well, nobody will tell me what's happening. The guy at the beach yesterday, he states, well, you know, you came here and you violated our privacy. And the reality of the situation is I didn't fucking violate jack shit. I mean, I don't know the guy. I just pulled aside a PCH, which I've been there for about 5 times or something, maybe 4 or 5 times, around that same spot. Seeing different random people. Never seen that guy before. It's a public beach, so it's all public. So it's not his anything to violate. He's standing out in public on a beach, and I'm talking to myself not even close to him, talking to my cell phone camera, joking around, and here comes a bunch of random people, with the thug and bullying, how you did this, the bullying, you did this, they're the excuse justifications that don't make any sense. You sat at my table and ruined my life, so you better leave and never come back, you better leave the country. Okay, well, same thing, random stranger. You're not allowed at my beach. Well, it's not your beach. Okay, so anyways, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna mingle with angry people. Kevin's a horrible devil child, needs to die. And probably later tonight after I leave here, get some food, whatever, I'll get on camera and just sort of break down everything from yesterday and how it applies all the way down to 5 years old on reoccurring never-ending patterns from stranger to stranger, one sequentially after the next, for 48 years or 43 years. Okay, so I'm leaving Bob's. Oh my god, it's, let's see, 10:16. Talking to some people for a long time, so I'm fucking kind of worn out from talking. So I'll probably maybe do this video the next time, whatever. Okay, so this is gonna be a little tricky. I've done this a couple times, but I usually use like a GoPro type thing, and I just pointed my A7S, which I can't see if it's recording or not, and it stops after about 30 minutes, and sometimes it hiccups. So I'll probably be kind of turning the camera to just make sure it's recording. And as I mentioned last night, arriving at Bob's Big Boy, see the car meets. And side note, we have this whole ordeal with John Elway sabotaging my engine, and Corvette Connection now mad at me for saying, you know what, I think you took the engine out of the car, you took it apart, but after talking with you and everyone else and this and that, and he actually, Rich at Corvette Connection actually agreed that it would make more sense to build the car for me to have the engine rebuilt in California for all sorts of reasons, smog reasons, and tuning it proper elevations, all sorts of things. And then I say, okay, well, you know, I found someone out here, and then he plays this, oh, now I'm mad. Now I'm mad. So you didn't treat me right, and you're a horrible person. The same thing's been going on since I was 5 years old. You're a horrible person. And now originally gave me an invoice up to $13,000 for a rebuild, which changed to $18,000, which all the parts were padded, but I didn't say anything about that. But so he did about $2,000 of work. He pulled the engine and disassembled the engine and looked at the damage from the low PSI that magically happened after taking the car to John Elway. And at the same time telling me I should go to the Corvette clubs and ask like interrogating questions about why the engine went bad to try to sort of set me up and frame me. Okay. Same types of things have been done to me my whole life, and then I find out, and it's you're a violent paranoid schizo and need to die with worldwide support, right? Same thing with Joe Pineapple Joe. Hawaii Racing was a different scenario because I just simply bought an engine from the guy and didn't realize he was running around with my father telling the world that I stole $10,000, which isn't true. I worked my ass off in his filing room in his office. Okay, so and probably a whole plethora of other lies, because in my life, if I go to Save-Ons and buy a Jolly Rancher, and I don't even think Save-Ons exists anymore, I tried to poison the world with sugar. So I mean, just insanity, right? Okay, so anyways, I'm dealing with that. Oh, and so what he did is, sorry, I haven't had much coffee. What he did is say, okay, well, let me give you an invoice. Let me give you an invoice to prepare it to be shipped. And this invoice, so he has $7,000 down. Okay, I mean that's a lot of money to the average person. He has $7,000 down, and I'm talking like the average middle class, not like these Calabasas house owner, right? Okay, so he has $7,000 down. He pulls out the motor, about $900, $500 to disassemble it, and some various other things. So his bill, $2,769. I talked to some other shops. They said, you know, that's kind of steep. I mean, you pulled the engine, you took it apart, you know, I'd probably charge you around $1,500 too. So 3 is being really generous, right? Okay, but anyways, okay, so we're at, let's say we're at $2,769. And, I'm totally getting sidetracked here. This is almost for another segment. We're at $2,769 into it. I'm going to ship the car to California, finish the Corvette, the full engine rebuild. So he's done zero work. He's just pulled out the engine. Okay, well, let me give you an invoice. And this invoice, I wake up with this invoice for $8,500. What? Huh? Did I just wake up in a Twilight Zone? Well, you know, there's storage fees. Wait, there's storage fees. There's $25 storage fees for a couple of months. Oh, wait. Well, I can do that at my discretion. Now, nothing's signed, nothing's in paper. There's no actual contract like a contract. There's an invoice, but there's no contract. There's an invoice. If you rebuild the engine, this is how much I'll pay you. There's no actual contract, because if there's a contract, everything specific would be dialed out. It's $13,000, and I sign it. And he comes back to me, well, you need a new crank, and you need new connecting rods as well. Well, hey, that's not in the contract, right? So a contract is a contract. An invoice is not a contract. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. $3,200 for storage pricing. For storage. Well, what storage? I kept calling him up on the phone. You get to the car yet? No, not yet. We got this green one in front of yours. We got this one in front of yours. We got that one in front of yours. Okay, so the month he makes me wait, he then decides to charge for storage. Well, that's illegal. You can't, hey, I refuse to get to your car, but I'm charging for storage. Hey, someone blew up your engine. John Elway blew up your engine, or made it look like or did something so the PSI was low when I shut it down and said something's wrong. Better not drive it on low PSI. Where am I here? So you tow a car into a shop, I refuse to get to it, I'm charging you storage. But you can't charge me storage if you refuse to get to it. Okay, but that's not what he says on one of his final calls. Because according to him, because I said don't rush it, you know, like don't take a fucking air wrench to the head, you know, wake up, drink your coffee, get the right torque specs on the wrench, right? That's what don't rush it means, and every single person that knows English knows that. Trying to turn around saying I made him wait. So now you know that he was always going to try to steal my car or steal my money. Sorry, I'm still half asleep. And I'm headed out to the beach. Okay, so I'm totally sidetracked now. So, okay, so this is the Corvette connection. Where else? Oh, okay, so he charges $3,200 for storage. Technically, at the point that I said, if he was going to be an asshole and charge for any type of storage at $25 a day, because I can get my car stored here for $135 a month at a car storage place. But if his pricing is $25 a day at the point that I said, Rich, hold off, don't continue, well, that would be more like $200, not $3,200. Okay, so now you know what type of person we're dealing with. Okay, so now I'm looking in this bill and it's just crazy. Like $900 to put some parts in a box, $500 to get a skid and put it on the ground or something. Okay, so right, you know, like the movie Independence Day. Well, you know, it's not $30,000 for a hammer. Okay, so, right? So padding these insane charges. Well, you know, you don't want to pay $8,500 for walking away. You can't have your car back. And he already has $7,000. But he's only done $2,769 of work. Right? What kind of person is this? So at the moment you say, hey, look, you know, and you're being friendly, you know, it's not working out, blah, blah, blah. You can't have your car back. Don't talk to me again. Don't talk to me again. You can't have your car back. Don't talk to me again. You can't have your car back, and you owe me like $8,500. And the minute you try to talk to him, look, you know, I'm not interested in you packing things up. Just wheel the car out. Someone will pick it up. Nope, you can't do that. I'm gonna put together a different invoice or this or that. Well, look, just give me back my fucking shit. I don't like you anymore, right? No, you can't. We can do it. We have the power. We have the power to do whatever we want. Well, I mean, at this point, the cops have been called on him. He's been reported. He's going to be reported to Yelp. He's going to be reported to, I don't know what the bar associations are, like the California area of the bar or whatever but he's going to be reported to all those associations. He's trying to set me up and frame me, tell me to go to Corvette Club, I think I just said that, Corvette Club people, and try to figure out what happened to the engine, crazy shit like this to make me look crazy. The same shit. But he's just a really good, this is how business works, right? Well, no, this is not how business works. And, okay, so, whatever, it's just the next chain of events since 5 years old, non-stop. Kevin, you don't know how the world works. This is normal. Give the guy all your money, whatever. Well, no. Oh, and I should note that the longer it sits there, he's going to charge more and more storage fees, right? Well, I wouldn't let you pick it up. But now you finally, I'm being nice to give it back to you, but now it's $500,000. Right? See, the same, because this is the type of person this Rich, whatever, from Corvette Connection is. Okay, and I just want everyone to kind of know that in the Corvette clubs and the car community, he's a criminal. And these are the same types of things that were happening with Pineapple Joe when I was 16 to my father, to try to stop me from getting into cars. Okay, so where are we? I'm not gonna, you know, I'm still trying to figure out, you know, the cops have been notified and this and that. And okay, so let me jump back. Okay, so this video is really, let me check the battery. We're recording here. Okay, so I'm back on Topanga Canyon. I'm heading out to PCH. The last Thursday on Thanksgiving, I was out in PCH. I'm going to the same area. You'll notice this happens at every place I go in the world, especially beaches. And taking walks. If I take a walk and sit here, this happens. If I sit there, this happens. If I go to a park, this happens. If I go to a beach, this happens. If I go to Southern Oregon State College, this happens. If I go to University of Colorado, this happens. Right? And it's always my fault. And I sort of wanted to go through as I mentioned before, try to explain the situation, how it applies to my daily life all the way down to 5 years old, because now there's a worldwide campaign to execute me or lock me in mental institutions. And you say this doesn't make sense. And with these scams, you don't know how the world works, and it's your fault, and it's your behavior, and it's this, and it's that, and blah, blah, and it's always Kevin's fault. No matter who I talk to on the planet with this disinformation, which is spookier and shit. So, the reason I wanted to expand, I think I mentioned this last night on this, and I was in a rush last night, is because out of all these endless scenarios, there's never been an explanation. There's never been any dialogue. You see what I'm saying? Like, Kevin, you know what you're doing. Stop doing what you're doing. You're a horrible monster. You know what you did. Your past caught up with you. You're a bad person. It's your behavior. I've given you enough rope to hang yourself with. You know what you did. You suffer from mental illness. I mean, these are actually, I'm not making shit up. These are just a taste, like a taster of some of these things told me, but nothing is ever an actual, anything that you can work with based on, well, what did I do? You know what I'm saying? What did I do? You have a planet saying every vague label and comment, which all comes down to the same thing. Well, you have hair on your arm, or you're the black sheep, so you don't have the right to exist. I need to be a slave. I'm a horrible person. I'm a monster. I'm an asshole. I'm a criminal. I'm this. I'm that. Specifically, right? What is this worldwide mobbing since 5 years old about? The crime spree against me at University of Colorado. The crime sprees against me, like with Kelly Hatchson after me at Southern Oregon State College. What is it about? Okay, now this isn't going to really sum it up, but in the last video, the random stranger comes up to me that was down on the beach, and I'm just videoing the beach. I'm not videoing him, but I'm videoing the beach. And he can see that I'm talking on my cell phone and joking around and talking about the beach. And he's talking about me violating his privacy. Like, I know him, and I'm trying to sleep with his girlfriend. And these are actually some of the other years ago scams that that aren't even close to true. Like, with Victoria Walker. Kevin, keep calling. Kevin. Oh, she kept calling me. Kevin, can you help me with this? Kevin, can you help me with that? Blah, 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 with Matt Volowacki. And then I actually pay for the wedding, or I co-sign for the wedding ring to show that, you know, I'm not fucking around here. I'm your friend, right? I'm not going to say that everything's perfect in life, that there's some jealous weirdos and shit that just want you dead because you yawned in their presence. But what I'm saying is that this is going, okay, what I'm saying is that these things do happen, but they're not disseminated worldwide. He tried to steal my wife type thing to an entire planet. You see what I'm saying? Normally what happens is Matt von Malaki is just a fucking German Jew killer or something, and he sees me and he wants to treat me like shit or whatever, and it kind of ends there, right? But yet Victoria Walker was helping, and they're like a tag team frame job couple, even though there's nothing I did wrong, but be a really good person. But the information instantly goes worldwide. You can never go to any gym in the world, any pool hall in the world, any coffee shop in the world, conglomerated with the first 1,000 sets since 5 years old of people doing the same thing, which doesn't make any sense, right? So how does your life have a worldwide campaign to kill you based on a rap sheet of fiction? And things like we have documented every parking spot Kevin's parked in since he was 16 years old. Okay? With NSA level tools and internet distribution tools. Okay, so that being said, we're down on the beach. I'm doing what I always do, just living my life. I leave my house, that's the first crime I committed. I'm breathing, actually it's probably the other way around. I'm breathing, that's the first crime I committed. I left my house, that's the second crime I've committed since 5 years old. And I went to a random spot. Now, actually, it's not random because I've been there in the last maybe 4 or 5 times. And this pattern keeps happening wherever. For a while, I started parking on PCH in spots like only one car could fit to stop them from stalking me in their mass 43-year groups, right? Okay. But I started sort of going in more crowded spots because here, a lot of times I go down to Point Magoo and it's 40-minute drive, 45-minute drive. If I just drive down to Topanga Canyon, pull aside on PCH, is 15 minutes. Okay, and I like to get out of my house because it's not healthy for some sicko to try to keep me in a cage since 5 years old. And like every event since almost every interaction is the same since 5 years old. Whether it's this direct, I should say usually it's not this direct. Usually it's a very two-faced. Maybe I go to the beach, nothing is said. A plan of people are notified that I'm stalking a girl. But what girl? No girl exists. Who am I stalking? I'm just going to a beach. Do you see what I'm saying? And they'll sort of try to make these random justifications which change on an hourly basis. He's at the beach because he's waiting for a girl. He's at the beach because he's stalking a girl and won't leave her alone. He's at the beach because he's selling drugs. He's at the beach because he's marking his territory. He's at the beach because he's crazy and he's looking for Xenu, the Scientologist god, right? And they'll just keep changing from stranger to stranger. And you're gonna say, but I don't know any of these people. I don't know these people here. I don't know them in Colorado. I don't know them in Florida. I don't know them in Cincinnati. I don't know them in Wisconsin. How is it that this has happened from almost every single interaction since 5 years old? How is that possible? Okay. So, that being said, nothing's ever said. Nothing Kevin's not told. While there's an entire planet trying to kill Kevin Burlman, me, since 5 years old, it is extremely rare that anyone has an argument based on fact or logic, which is extremely rare. I mean, hey, you know what, you piece of shit, you slept with my wife, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Okay, well, there's something to work with. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to the psychology community. Well, who's orchestrating this? The psychology community with the judicial system. So what is it the psychology community and the judicial system are doing? They're forcing you into a position that you can't defend yourself. You have no recourse but to die. Okay? Or do what you're demanded. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're a slave. Starting at 5 years old, you're a slave. And we're mentally gonna whip you to death, minute by minute, with worldwide groups. When we see the pairs of twos, cars backwards together at each and every place in the world now. Whether I walk out of my house and there's 2 black Civics together with 2 white pickups with 2 grays. The latest is now they're doing pairs of whites together everywhere. So 2 white cars together. Okay, for a while they're doing 2 red cars together everywhere. That's a form of whipping a slave. Now, if you sort of want to throw in just some random things they did, 8 years old, I was at Sunny Skies Day Camp. I kissed a black girl my age, and I was like 8 years old, so an 8-year-old kissing an 8-year-old, something around that time. And Kevin's a white supremacist and needs to die, and he hates black people, and he hates Asian people, and he hates Persian, and he hates Armenians, and keep whipping him, and all I did was kiss a black girl. So when we're talking about these things that instantly go worldwide, and it was a lot harder for them to do until the internet came around in '94, but they were still doing it on city levels. Well, what are they setting you up to end up? Like in a mental institution? Well, that was my brother's threats at 16. He and his friends were going to put me in a mental institution. But let's not go too far off scope. Let's stick to the repetitive, reoccurring behaviors that have been going on since 5 years old. Okay, we're coming close to PCH. Okay, so the reoccurring behaviors. Well, you just saw it last week. Something to kind of work with. Not you're a horrible person, you know what you did, or your past caught up with you, and we have a worldwide campaign to kill you, but an actual delusional argument. Okay? Some Hispanic dudes on the beach, which clearly knows me, and you saw that everyone there knew me, whether they're going to admit it or not. Also, I did mention it in that video, but the Latin guy had a horizontal striped shirt. The guy that pulled up in front of me right after he left, went down the beach with a girl on a towel, had a horizontal striped shirt. There were a couple other people walking by with horizontal striped shirts, and that is an older tactic. It's an older tactic that was especially done at the Coffee Beans years ago in huge groups. So maybe I go to a Coffee Bean and everything's normal, and then all of a sudden you see like 100 people show up with horizontal striped shirts. Okay. And then you saw a lot of that in the remake of Poltergeist too, which is interesting, but I don't want to go too far there. Okay, so he says, this is the most important part. He says, I'm violating their privacy. Okay. Now any rational, and that's going to go out worldwide, and I'm a horrible person, I'm violating their privacy, peeping Tom Farley's was making shit up like that when I was a kid, because you want to know how I know that? Because when I was really young, around that same time, like 8, 10, my brother would go out and they'd put on all black and they would spy on people's houses and play the spy thing, and then people start following me around in all black, trying to hint with their schizo games that I'm spying on people. I'm supposedly Jason Perlman. Does that make sense? We're trying to turn you into a schizo or make you look schizo. And this is done all day and night to me with different types of things like that. So, and I won't even get into what my mother and brother did with the movie Creep Show when I was in 8th grade with Christy Reynolds in English class. Let me see if I can remember that English teacher's name. Damn, I should really write him down now that I'm getting old. Miss Vaughn. Miss Vaughn's class. 8th grade, Miss Vaughn's class. Christy Reynolds, Tom Farley working on me with Tracy Pecos, using the name Pecos for a idea of reference tactic. Okay, so anyways, so by being at the beach, parked on PCH, with 1,000 other cars, everyone out of their cars, everyone minding their own business, everyone listening to music, some people chugging 6 packs of beers or whatever. Nobody fucking cares, right? Not even the police running around. Hey, drunken public, drunken public, drunken. Okay, everyone's sort of relaxing and nobody's being Nazi, right? But Kevin Perlman arrives. Random strangers see Kevin talking to a camera. Well, why is me joking around in a camera 200 yards away from some people on the beach offensive to them? So much so that they're going to walk up to me and threaten me, right? You better delete this. Playing some kind of like game, like he's a gang member and I have a picture of it. Well, that's not what's going on there, trust me. Now, I know the judicial system and the psychology community go, you're crazy, Kevin, because you didn't do it that guy told you, and you put that on the internet, you're reckless, and bullshit. It's just the next person in line working the I own Kevin tactic for the crime of finding out what's being done to me in the psychology community and judicial system, saying Kevin's a fucking dead man. He doesn't have the right to say anything about his innocence or him being a good person, and that this is unacceptable. Okay, and remember, this starts at 5 years old, so what's the excuse? Okay, so let's get back to the privacy. That's the most important thing, because I'm supposedly invading everyone's privacy, right? So now you have an argument. How am I invading the people's privacy? Am I invading everyone's privacy by adding people on Twitter, or adding friends on Facebook, or adding people on Instagram, or talking to someone, or saying, hey, I know you were in this movie, or I know you, or maybe I'm at a coffee shop and someone from the internet walks in, and I go, hey, I know you have an Instagram account, and oh, you invaded my privacy. Now we have to hunt you and kill you. You're not allowed here or anywhere else in the world. Wait, how did I invade your privacy? If you put up an Instagram account, I don't care if you're a model, a porn star, a singer, a comedian, an actor, just Joe Blow over there, you put up a fucking Instagram account. You advertised yourself. You put yourself in movies. You did photo shoots. You put yourself out there. And I see you and I say, you're so-and-so. Hi, I'm Kevin, whatever. You invaded my privacy. You can't come here or anywhere else in the world? Okay, so, well, this event wasn't that. I have 100,000 of that's as well as this. And you're going to say that doesn't make sense. Oh, well, you're stalking me because you said, whatever, I saw your photo shoot on the internet. I know who you are. Well, you stole my photo shoot. You're a criminal. Wait, I'm a criminal because, or I'm a thief? I'm a thief because I stole your photo shoot, because you posted your photo shoot on the internet for the world to see, and you wanted me to pay you $10 million to see your photo that everyone's seeing for free. So I'm a criminal and I ruined your life? Well, that to me sounds like a spoiled brat. It says I don't want to work in a day in my life, and I'm looking for a sucker to steal all his money and kill in the process, right? Okay, so you'll see how all these things are reversed. And I'm not saying there's some fucking douchebag criminal murderers. What I'm saying is this is a planet of people all working together since I was 5 years old, with these lame-ass justifications. Okay, so I'm just here at the beach looking for a spot. It was interesting, yes, the last Thursday when I pulled up, a girl had her hazards on. Almost like, it was like a warning me, but not warning me. I can't even tell you. It's like, almost like, I don't think it was a warning. I think it was a threat. Like, don't come here. Let's see. We always park by the bus here. Let's kind of get, if we find a spot. Okay, so there we go. We'll go here. So this is pretty close to where I was. We have a gray Altima. Okay, so so let me just reiterate. Well, now Kevin, you're going back. Okay, so I want you to understand the scams or the bullshit. Kevin, you don't know the way the world works. The bullshit arguments. Okay, so we're here, PCH, past Topanga Canyon. We got our little cool bus here. They seem to kind of live out here. Okay, so now what I would be told. Okay, so this is what I would be told. Well, Kevin, you know, you came back, so you're asking for it. You got some Mexican guy and he's pissing here, marking his territory. You, like a fucking animal. You got the judicial system and psychology community. Kevin, you're crazy because you came back to the same place where you're not allowed out because some guys threatened you. But more important than that is that this happens at every place I go. So if it happens at every place I go, like you saw the Long Beach videos, then at what point can I leave my house? So what's this really about? Trying to figure out a way to force me into like my house to kill myself and make me look agoraphobic? Or is it about Kevin's reckless and out of control because every single interaction he has with random strangers is you're a dead man and I don't know you, which is completely statistically impossible to happen, okay? Especially if people are witnessing it and going, look, this everywhere this guy goes, random strangers try to kill him and we're not gonna work with people and the police to stop it, is even freakier, right? Okay, but let's try to stick to the privacy thing. Now this guy's argument, actually, let's turn the camera here, because technically, right now, I'm violating all these people's privacy, right? I'm ruining all their lives. They can't get on with their lives. They can't live their lives. They can't focus. They can't concentrate because right now I'm supposedly jamming a camera in their face, ruining their lives, right? Right now, the camera is jamming, it's pressed against their forehead, so then they can't, well, Kevin, you're at the beach with a camera, that's crazy. Yeah, that's so crazy, right? Okay, these people all have cell phones and cell phone cameras, they're all videoing, doing all sorts of shit. Whether it be cell phones or SLRs, and nobody fucking cares, okay? It is very rare that someone runs up to someone saying, you violated my privacy, now delete all your sunset, your cloudy sunset beach pictures because you violated my privacy. The translation would be, I don't want you coming to the beach and taking cool pictures of waves in the sunset and waves crashing or whatever, right? It's not, there's a translation. And the part that the judicial system and the psychology community, it's your fault, Kevin. Oh, that was the point I wanted to make. It's your fault, Kevin. Okay, no matter what happens to me in life. Well, Kevin, it's your fault because Rich from Corvette Connection is trying to steal all your money. Is trying to steal all your money because you went to him. Well, that's fucking crazy. And I've gotten this a lot from my family, my own family. And, sorry, I'm just checking battery. Switch battery. Okay, so where was I? So my own stepfather's like, well, Kevin, you know, you took your car to the Corvette Connection, and this guy turned out to be shady and freaky, and it's your fault, right? So how am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to know if this rich guy, which I've never seen in my life, in Denver, Colorado, is sort of going to try to steal my money and blackmail me out of my car, or try to steal money, like $500,000 to get my car back for a simple $13,000 rebuild, something like that, right? Okay, so how am I supposed to know this unless he has like a criminal rap sheet? You know what I'm saying? How am I supposed to, unless I'm psychic? Okay, so I can't know this. All I can do is say, I gotta trust someone to do it, and then each person's told to do the same thing, right? That's where it even gets worse. Each person is told to do the same thing. It's unheard of. Okay, so, since 5 years old. Okay, so, where the hell am I going here? I'm going to, I was gonna use an analogy of a girl. Hey, you dated a girl, she tried to steal all your money and blow your brains out. Well, it's your fault because you dated her. Well, how am I supposed to know that this girl is going to try to blow my brains out and steal all my money? I mean, how am I supposed to know that? Well, you might want to say, well, she has tattoos, doesn't she? Well, I mean, that doesn't define you. I mean, sure, a rougher type might have tattoos, but that doesn't mean that they're criminal murderers. It just means maybe they're a little more artsy or expressive, right? Okay? And so you can't go from here to there with everything, right? Look, if you meet someone with a criminal record for like murder, okay, yeah, sure, that makes sense. If you meet someone and they have tattoos, you can't say they're a murderer, okay? And so that's my family's thinking, is that everything goes from there to there. There's no in between. There's no middle ground. Okay? Zero middle ground. You're either a good person or you're a bad person. You're either Republican or you're Democrat. Well, why can't I be someone that wants a good political system and for people to get things done and not have to fit a category, right? Why can't I be like that? Why can't I say, I like this girl because she's artistic and expressive and has tattoos and does cool shit or whatever, based on good or bad. Now, if this girl becomes like a piece of shit, or this car mechanic, which looks like a good reputation, but car mechanic is actually a criminal thief, I'm only gonna know that until after the fact. I can't know it unless people have warned me about that person, right? Okay. And you're also talking to a guy who lives in complete isolation where everyone's giving disinformation to anyways, since 5 years old, trying to make me think that the world is this way when it's really that way, in order to keep me in some kind of control bubble of terror, torture, to rid me of the world, right? Okay, so I'm veering off a little, but you can see how these all apply, because for all I know, that Rich at Corvette Connection is now turning it totally around like everyone else. I'm violating this guy's privacy, and I'm mean and rude and treated Rich like crap for having a disagreement about this $8,500 invoice of padded bullshit. You see what I'm saying? Hey Rich, you did $2,000 work, but come on Rich, I mean this looks obnoxious. $3,200. Oh, you're rude and you belittled me and I'm not talking to you anymore and you can't have your car back and don't ever come to my shop and don't ever call me and don't ever email me. For having a disagreement with the invoice numbers? Well, why don't you just say, the minute I drove my car in the shop, you're an asshole, Kevin, and you owe me $10 million. Or you don't get your car back. Okay, the same types of things my father's doing to me, the same types of things my friends have always done to me, and then they all sort of reverse it, right? Kevin's a bad guy, Kevin's crazy, Kevin suffers from mental illness, Kevin doesn't know how the world works. Okay, but those aren't my stories or information from me. Those are people that hate me, creating fiction to get what they want, correct? So Rich at Corvette Connection wants to blackmail me out of hundreds of thousands of dollars for asking for a simple rebuild and steal the car at the same time and thug me out of my car. And he's working with John Elway, who actually fucked up the engine intentionally in the first place. And I'm not going to get into specifics. She's going to say, Kevin, how do you know that? Well, I have video recordings, audio recordings of them refusing to fix my tampered suspension with correctly and trying to make $6,000 off a $100 thing. And lies that the Corvette sits crooked from left to right off the factory. And then switching this about fatigue leaf springs. And then all sorts of related incidences and things of people trying to steal my money to cover up the 90s crime spree against me. So you get the idea. And of course then my family's like, well, you know, don't call the police, and you don't understand how the way the world works, and you have a contract with this guy, and if he doesn't want to give you back the car, he doesn't have to because he has the power. I mean, the first thing that comes to my thought is I don't know a lot of people that are that calculated. You know what I'm saying? Like, he might have 90% of the power to do these things, but most people don't behave that way. Like, if you see the movie Pacific Heights, And it's funny I should mention that because they sent a guy into my house to squat and do the same types of things to me, like the movie Pacific Heights in the 90s and all sorts of things like this to get me out of the house, to migrate me out of my house that the cops are trying to cover up. So most people don't have the power to do, or most people, or some people might have the power to do what Michael Keaton did in the movie Pacific Heights, I think it's called. Like an 80s movie. But 98% of the people on this planet don't do those types of things. And so when I'm talking about Rich's Corvette connection in Denver, Colorado, what he's doing most people don't do, and in the end that pretty much lands them in bars, behind bars, and if it doesn't, they go out of business for being criminal fucking trash, and nobody wants to bring their car there, right? They don't want to work with them. Okay, so, you know, power a lot of times is illusion to control freaks. That's the bottom line. And there's a lot of pretty women that are driven off power, but it's kind of a false sense of security, or they get away. Okay, here's a good example, like Tracy Anna Koval, who tried to set me up and frame me. Let me just... Okay, so one of the people sent after me, Tim Thompson, a pool player, introduced me to a girl named Tracy Anna Koval, like a hustler girl who... she was getting into it, a hustler slash pornish girl from Dutch, and that might even came from our jokes about the pool game Dutch doubles, because they worked their idea of reference schizophrenia tactics, and we used to call it "fuck your buddy," because Dutch doubles. What Dutch doubles is it's like if you play 9-ball, you make a shot and you line it up for your partner. And he then has to shoot the next shot, and then you shoot the next shot. And if you don't create a good leave for your next shot for your partner, then you fucked him over. So that's why I used to joke, fuck your buddy. But whatever. So Tim Thompson sends a girl, he weasels into my life with a person named Steve McKike, trying to end my existence. I become friends with him. He sends a girl, or he introduces me to a girl, Tracy Anna Koval. She does a few hustler photo shoots. I build a doll website for her. She then tries to manipulate me into helping her with a spy camera bullshit. Put a spy camera in Gene Simmons. I don't know if this thing was even true or a scam, because my life is so weird. There's so many people trying to do these freaky things, all conspiring. It's almost that paranoia freaky, right? So anyway, she tries to manipulate me to help her with this Gene Simmons thing. And I'm like, fuck you, are you fucking crazy? Fucking no fucking way. Like, don't even talk to me about that shit. I don't even want to know. Okay? And so this girl's running around, obviously. I'm beautiful, I got my big silicone titties. I own every man. I can have every man I want. I mean, she's not saying it, but she's thinking it. Kevin, will you help me screw over this person? Fuck no. Now, interesting that my brother's favorite band is Kiss and Gene Simmons, because my brother is the one who is told to fucking hunt me and execute me at 7 years old, when he's 7 years old, and I'm 5 years old. So, all these little intricate coincidences, a good 70% of the time aren't coincidences. Okay? That's where things get really fucking freaky. And they're all designed with the psychology community that when you find out what's going on, eventually, if enough things are done to you, you're going to notice these little tiny hypersensitive things, like in front of my house. The 2 white Civics, the 2 more white Civics, the 4 red pickups together, the 7 orange cars that pulled up yesterday or the day before all at the same time, and then we don't see any orange cars for 6 more months. Okay, you're not normally going to be looking for that until you're abused so many times that you go, what the fuck is going on? Okay, but back to the privacy thing, and it's interesting that I'm talking about the Tracy Anakoval setup attempts, and these people saying I'm violating their privacy. I mean, right now, see, I must be a peeping Tom. See, I'm peeping on that girl walking her dog, and I'm peeping on that horizontal striped girl on the rocks there, and I'm peeping, and it's gonna get a lot worse if, say, let's say right now 15 vans show up that says Scooby-Doo on the side. They're not connected. There's no Scooby-Doo convention. They don't know each other. And they all park around me, whistling at me. And they go, Kevin, you're too hypersensitive. There's nothing here. There's nothing out of the ordinary here. No? Now you understand why it gets on video, right? Okay, so that's the point. And all their arguments are going to be, well, you violated my privacy, and now we have to hunt you and kill you with worldwide support. Okay. So, what do we have? I mean, I could listen, this is going to change to 80 different topics like this, so I don't want to go too deep, but we have a guy here that's verbalized, which is rare, you violated my privacy. But I didn't violate his privacy. He's just psychotic. You have a brother and his friends going around dressing in all black, spying on houses when he's like, I don't know, 11 years old. And then he says it's Kevin. So I'm going to tell the world it's Kevin, and then worldwide groups are going to follow me around wearing all black. Try to guilt me into coerced false confessions to try to make me look like a schizophrenic. But yet, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here watching mass conspiracies. And you might want to call it a conspiracy to commit murder. I mean, right? It's not a conspiracy to commit mental illness because it's the same fucking thing. You destroy my life and try to torture me and kill me or rid me of the world. What's the fucking difference? Technically, murder would be a lot more humane, right? Just fucking put a bullet in my head and it's done with. But to follow me around and torture me and try to make me look crazy. I'm looking at the guy with the Spider-Man shirt in front of me because I'm working with Marvel Towing, possibly. Okay, Marvel Shipping. Okay, so, and the reason I say that is because they know I like the spot. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, and he's pouring out a beer, and nobody's gonna care, but if Kevin drinks a beer out there, it's the end of the world. Okay. This is very important. So now they know I like the spot. Oh yeah, I didn't go. Okay, so I've been here this is probably the 5th time I'm here. Now they know I like the spot. Each time larger and larger coordinated groups come here in case Kevin comes here. Does that make sense? And they get angrier and angrier, and they get tougher and tougher, and meaner and larger. And then maybe I go to the next spot. Same thing. So you can never really go to one place more than once. And this applies to everything. It applies to a strip club, a coffee shop, a restaurant, a shopping mall, a gas station. And then they go, Kevin, you're crazy because you went back to a place more than once. So if I go to a same restaurant twice in 5 years, Kevin's crazy. With a mother running around saying, Kevin, you have a problem too, in literals and weird shit like this. And it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter if I'm at a coffee shop on a laptop and then I go, I'm going to go grab some lunch and come back. Oh, well, Kevin, you were at the coffee shop twice a day. You're crazy. But people don't think like that. And then my father runs around, Kevin, you think differently. Well, I mean, yeah, I do think differently than psychotics. And then, if you want to sort of package it together, when I'm around 10 years old or something, no, 14 years old, my brother and Darren Moselle make a movie called Psychos, I mean, not like a movie, a little VHS dick around movie called Psychos, and then he sort of tries to make it look like I conform to media and think psychos are hunting me down, and technically psychotics are hunting me, but it has nothing to do with the little movie he made to try to make me think, make me look crazy. It's designed by the police, government, family, and psychology community to make me look crazy. Why? Well, there's only one possible reason: to eradicate. Okay, so, I don't know if I should go too much deeper, but the progression. So the progression is, or the situation is always the same since 5 years old. You went to Southern Oregon State College and we had Kelly Hatch follow you up from Calabasas High, put her above me in the dorm, and then ran around saying Kevin's stalking me and violating my privacy. Kelly asks, can I borrow your X-Acto knife to work on my car stereo? Yeah, Kevin, go in my room. You know where it is in my little art box. Oh, Kevin broke in my room and Kevin violated my privacy. Oh, also, I'm going to add this with the police and government that Kevin also tried to steal my car. Wait. How did I try to steal your fucking car? By asking if I can borrow your X-Acto knife and you saying, Kevin, I'm sure go into my room, you know, the door's open. Okay, so if you want to be a anal retentive nut job, there's a verbal contract that Kelly Hatch says I can go into the room and get. Well, Kevin, but you're reckless and out of control because nobody's ever going to do that. What are you fucking talking about? Everyone's going to do that. You have a friend, you trust your friend, and they say, yeah, Kevin, you know, go in my room, the door's open, and go get this. What's the problem? Did I violate Kelly Hatch's privacy? No. I was being set up and framed. But more importantly, these aren't normally frame jobs. I mean, nobody cares about this shit. Right? I mean, hey Kevin, go in my room and get what you need. You know where it is because you've hung out in my room so many fucking times. So now the FBI's involved, like, oh, Kevin's a possible, oh, it's psychology community. Kevin's a possible cat burglar. Huh? Right? It's like, so, once again, we're going from here to there. Okay. Now you're going to say, but why? Well, there's no real why, but someone wants Kevin Perlman dead and gone or out of the society picture, so to speak. And that someone started in on me at 5 years old, and that's pretty much Dr. Ronald Barry Perlman with all his insane, unheard of resources, which I can't tell you on specifics, but I can tell you it links up to FBI, NSA, psychology, community torture, and eradication operations with worldwide support now. And all these people endlessly doing just these few examples that have been minute by minute for 43 years. 43 years, person after person. Groups, not one person, groups all working together, just like John Elway Chevrolet working with the Corvette Connection, working with Ramada Hotel, working with Days Inn Hotel, all police reports and proof that disputes that I got my money back of them trying to steal my money and all this. And then they try to sort of work their schizo tactics. Well, Kevin, why are we doing this to you? There must be a reason, Kevin. So you got to tell us why we're hunting you to kill you. And what they want me to say is give them, of course, false confession. Well, I did this and I did that. Oh, see, it's okay, it's justified. Now we got to kill you. Right? And even if I supposedly did do something when I was 10 years old, like, well, I walked into my daddy's room and stole a $100 bill out of his wallet. See? See? Kevin's a criminal and he doesn't have the right to exist. Okay, so, and you would say, who fucking cares? That was 40 years ago. And then they try to say, well, Kevin suffers from obsession because Kevin, who would care about that? And turn it around, right? Okay, so, psychological warfare, torture, psychological warfare, terror, mass strangers, all coordinated in a mass worldwide conspiracy. Gets really bad in 94 when my brother wanted me to see the internet. We have an actual confession here of delusional psychotic behaviors. I violated their privacy by driving to the beach, getting out of my car, putting my cell phone on a selfie stick and videoing myself look like kind of a jackass, but being sarcastic about my life, which is just beyond any level fucked and sick and demented what they're doing. Showing that he has something to hide, by the way. He knows people that are involved in this execute Kevin Perlman since 5 years old, and he doesn't want me talking. But he's not going to say that. He's going to say, you violated my privacy, trying to make me think I did something wrong. And even if whatever that means, it can't be anything global. Okay, so you get the idea that no privacy has been violated now or ever, and it's just some lame justification that changes minute by minute, stranger after stranger. Now I'm looking here in this black organic portal girl is here. Now she might play some angle that I'm violating her privacy. I don't know, she actually turned out to be after last night. She just walked up and said, are you fucking with my bike? And then I walked to the Andy Gump, I walked back, I got in my car, she gets out of her car, she says, are you fucking with my bike? Don't fuck with my bike. I'm like, what the fuck? I said, I didn't fuck with your bike. And then she comes out again, and I say, like, I just walked down to the Andy Gump and walked back, and she apologized and we talked a little, and then she gave me a hug, and she talked about her weird organic thing, portal thing, and I said, well, you know, my gang stalking definition is very different than yours. And she turned out to be pretty nice, but the point I want to make is, and I don't believe in that organic portal shit, whatever, and I don't think she does either, to tell you the truth. What I wanted to say was, she wasn't here 4 days ago when I first came out here the first time. She appeared afterwards. And then several people have now started coming here after me, and then it's, you violated my privacy after I first came here. Almost like, hey, we want to take over your spot. The same things that have been done to me my whole life on IRC, my houses, everything since 5 years old. And interesting that Kelly Hatch was part Indian and drove a Jeep Cherokee, almost like she's gonna migrate me everywhere with my family and friends since 5 years old, and then say I'm a bad person and I have to keep moving, and also you're not allowed to watch movies because my father started in on me at 5 years old, trying to make it look like I conform to media with my mother. And it's just pure insanity. See how I'm jumping from thing to thing? And like I said on the last video, nothing's about one thing. Their reasoning changes on an hourly basis, their justifications. Hey, you violate my privacy. Hey, you're crazy. Hey, you're an asshole. Hey, I know what you did to someone. Hey, you're Republican. I actually had shit like that, like, ask me if I'm Democrat or Republican and people stalk me. Shit you never even think about. I've had people like that talked about jihadi for 10 minutes next to me, and then they did guilt by association. Okay, so the reasoning keeps changing, and this guy you got something solid from, but it's still not what it is. Does that make sense? Okay, so I think that's pretty important. Now you're gonna say, now this is about, now this hour or day is about violating someone's privacy, and then they'll probably go into things like I'm supposedly a hacker. They did that one starting in Colorado after the internet came around. Well, you know computers, so you must be a hacker. Well, then there's got to be a god awful lot of hackers out there. Let me tell you, in the world of there's actually very few. Well, you know firewalling, so you must be a hacker. Well, no, firewalls stop hackers. Okay. So we had a verbal, well, I violated their privacy. Now probably what he's doing is playing this game like hinting that maybe I violated someone else's privacy, because they do that too. Okay, well, did I go to Long Beach and go to Bixby Park and put a sign, All Lives Matter. And because it's called Bixby Park, it's kind of like Corey Bixby from my high school, who was told to do fucked up shit to me. So am I violating Corey Bixby's privacy? So am I violating Corey Bixby's privacy from 30 years ago by going to Long Beach 4 months ago and putting a sign on the ground, All Lives Matter, with the George Floyd protests? So I have to be hunted and killed by black people and Hispanics, and then it switches to my hat. Oh, did I bring my hat? Oh, yeah. Then it switches to the cowboy hat. Okay, so now I'm a white supremacist because the guy that I bought this off on eBay bait and switched the something rock and roll thing here and put this, sold me a different version of the hat. And now, supposedly, this is a white supremacist Nazi sign. And the cops were working that angles with the criminals. So wait, now we've just jumped from privacy to white supremacist from a random emblem. By the way, there's a skull and crossbones. I don't remember seeing the skull and crossbones on the World War II German airplanes. Did you? Okay, so now this is a white supremacist cowboy hat. So wait, is this a white supremacist cowboy hat, or am I violating that guy's privacy? So I can't be here. Remember what he said, you know, you need to leave. So I can't be here. I can't be in Long Beach. I can't be in Laguna. I can't be in Oxnard. I can't be in Point Magoo. I can't be in Florida. I can't be in Wisconsin. I can't be in Oregon. I can't be in Colorado. I can't be in Virginia, West Virginia. I can't be in Michigan because I'm ruining all these people's lives and I'm ruining all these people's privacy by driving to the beach and getting out of my car, or videoing myself, or even taking photos of the beach. I'm ruining everything. And then the lawyers might play this like, well, you got a big camera here, you got a Sony A7S or A7R. Well, first of all, did I drive my Sony A7S here on a Hollywood Universal Studios film truck with 5,000-pound cameras? And by the way, when we're talking about the horizontal stripes, I think I've seen, there's another one. Well, I'm imagining it, right? Because people wear horizontal stripes. Well, they do, but... Okay, so now you get the idea that I kind of lost my train of thought, that each person has a lame excuse to justify their actions. Okay? Oh yeah, the armpit, your armpit smell. That was one a few years ago. Your armpit smell, so we have a worldwide campaign to kill you. With the rare armpit disease that poisons and kills everyone. It gasses everyone to death. Okay, so you get the idea that that would kind of be what you're called bullying on steroids on a planetary level since 5 years old. You see what I'm saying? And I'm always a bad guy from stranger to stranger, and this guy is probably hinting about privacy from here to there, and it's just like everything else, it's just a general vague comment that doesn't make sense. And if you want to try to use, you violated my privacy here, to try to send me a message about something non-specific, well, I could go through 40 years of my life trying to figure out what they're mad about, but nothing's going to make any sense unless I did the Tracy Anna Koval camera thing in like 100,000 people's famous actors things or whatever, right? It's not gonna make any sense. But I think I forgot when we were talking about power, Tracy Anna Koval now looks like she disappeared and is shunned in every community and this and that. But once again, I didn't do anything with Tracy Anna Koval but build a website, and when she said, Kevin, I want you to help me, I was like, fuck that. Once again, while I've never heard anything specific about what she did, even if she really did it, for example, a lot of these things are staged to try to make me think that I did something. I was nowhere near it. The only thing I did is build her website. But you could say, well, Kevin, guilt by association. Well, yeah, but then every person she's ever talked to is going to be guilt by association, because I wasn't hanging out at a hotel with her with spy camera shit. You see what I'm saying? So they were setups or frame jobs from day one, but here's the bigger picture. Why haven't I been specifically told, once again, what I've done? So I have to sort of go through my life and try to figure out why there's a plan of people trying to kill me that I'm told I'm imagining, and then what do they say? Kevin, you suffer from obsession. That was like then. Well, okay, but we always come back to the same thing. I have a plan on people trying to kill me for no reason. It's all my fault for no reason. And I'm not allowed to know what it's about. Right? So I can talk about Tracy Yanikovo, but then I can jump to the next thing. Random people trying to... Rody Morales trying to plant a trash bag full of marijuana on me, trying to make it look like I was a drug dealer with LAPD, which failed. And then it's you stole drug dealer's drugs. I haven't fucking stolen anything. Okay. And then it goes to Pineapple Joe at Hawaii Racing when I'm 16. This drag racing engine the guy that sold me this drag racing engine used to be a drug dealer from a front engine drag rail. Yeah, fucking bullshit. First of all, bullshit. And second of all, so what? So what? A drug dealer sold you a fucking 426 Hemi. So? There's no like markings. Even if that was true, there's no markings on the 426 Hemi that says Guido the pimp. You know, something like that. Guido the drug dealer. Okay? It doesn't say fucking upgrade on the engine, okay? This belongs to upgrade. You see what I'm saying? So, the psychological seed planting is to try to race your mind or create obsessional looping and then go, Kevin's crazy. Okay. So once again, these vague comments don't make any sense. Okay? The vague what ifs, which I used to say years ago. The what ifers. The what ifers. Well, you know, you talk to a stripper so a pimp could kill you. Well, yeah, but I drove to a beach and we can have an earthquake and I can fall in the water. I drove to the beach, we could have a, what if? I drove to the beach, what if we have a tsunami? I have a beach, what if we have a huge earthquake that creates a tsunami? I drove to the beach, what if the core of the earth stops spinning and we die? I drove to the beach, what if that car over there, a drunk driver over there swerves and hits me? What if? Okay, if I live my life by what ifs, I'm never going to walk out of my house, kind of like my neurotic mother who started this whole thing, right? Okay, so I'm just going to kind of turn this because we have our striper here, and then I think we have a striper kind of, but while she's walking by a striper, and the guy she's with isn't really a stripe, but and we'll kind of see who's pulling up, a gray Civic. Okay, so you get the point. We don't have a lot of stripers today, we have two. We had more the last time with the Thug. But you get the idea that everything that is happening so you get the idea that everything is happening to me is pure psychotic, insane murderers with psychological warfare trying to execute me. And everything I'm doing since 5 years old is being a really fucking good person. Okay, so that guy's backwards thinking, which is really bullying, done to me since 5 years old, from stranger to stranger. You ruined my privacy by showing up at the beach. Well, who the fuck are you? I don't know you, and I'm just out here joking around in a camera. What does it have to do with you? Rody Morales, let's go to a lot of strip clubs. Okay? And whose privacy did I violate? Did I have a spy camera inside the $20 bill that ruined a stripper's life? There's no privacy violations. What else? You surf the internet, you add people on your Twitter and social networks or whatever, and joke or flirt with them or whatever, or talk to them. Well, if I push the follow button on Twitter, am I literally stalking you and following you, or is it just the name of a button? Right, that excuse has been used to try to make me look crazy. Met with pure anger and rage, like I did something to people. And then actually I've had about 50 porn stars follow me to coffee shops, trying to set me up and frame me, saying I'm stalking them, because maybe I push a follow button on Twitter or something like that. Same thing. Then they might say you stole from us. Yeah, I surfed the web and I saw your shit on the web. I stole from you, you lost money from me, I ruined your life. Like right now I might go there and pick that flower over there. I stole from the flower gods, right? Okay. So this deluded thinking, right? Rich from Corvette Connection. Hey Rich, you know what? You know, no hard feelings. You know what? We talked for a while, and I'm thinking, you know, it's a lot better that I do rebuild the engine out here because I have a warranty. You were rude to me. You ruined my life. You stopped work with me. You did this. Blah, 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 fucking blah. I want all your money. You can't have your car back. And then people like Sia Ninja Tang sent after me to try to set me up and rid me of the world in the 90s. See how you are? See how you are? See how you are? With the paranoid schizo things, we're gonna kill you. It's your fault we're gonna kill you because this is who you are, and you're a horrible monster. It starts from my own father at 5 years old trying to brainwash me that I deserve to die. That I don't have the right to live or breathe because I'm a horrible monster with nothing specific said, and there's probably actual like rapists and shit walking around. Which people are like, you know what, I don't have time, I'm not going to talk to that guy, but I don't have time for, and I'm not saying, I'm not putting myself in that category, I'm just saying that the guy, Kevin Perlman's been an exceptional motherfucker his whole life, and bent over backwards for everyone, is being hunted by an entire planet of things doing what I'm telling you since 5 years old. Now, what could a 5-year-old could have done? There is nothing. I can tell you when my father flipped out, when I threw some mud and water in the street, and shit, let me see if I'm still recording. Okay, I'm gonna end this here, but I'm gonna say this shouldn't even matter. And they're gonna say, Kevin, you suffered from obsession, because that was like 45 years ago. But it's their worldwide murder Kevin operations that puts me in this position. Now, my father flipped his lid. I'm 5 years old. I have this on other videos. I'm on Tiara Street, Woodland Hills, by my neighbor's little koi pond. There's some water in the rain gutter, interesting like the movie It, that they just made, and everyone's running around calling me an it, and weird shit like this. Okay, once again, using movies to try to make it look like I conform to media and I'm crazy. Now maybe they made the movie to try to make me look crazy, like my childhood event never happened and I'm conforming to the movie It. I don't know. I'm on Tiara Street by the koi pond. I'm playing a little rain gutter. There's water in the rain gutter. I have a pail, you know, like a sandbox pail and a shovel. I have mud and water in the pail. I'm doing like either making a dam or a castle, or I don't know. Probably more like a dam. I can't tell you. I'm done playing. I throw, you know, like emptying out the pail. Emptying out the pail. Oh, I have a Slurpee. I throw, not throw, but like throw the mud. How do you say that? I throw the mud, but hold on to the pail. Right? So I throw the mud and water. I'm not throwing the pail. I'm throwing the mud and water. I'm emptying the pail. The mud and water fly towards the street. I'm like 5 years old with tunnel vision. A car's driving by. Boom, it hits the hood. Car stops. Guy gets out. Can't tell you what he looks like, but I'm a 5-year-old. I'm this big. I start busting and crying and run in. And I think my family's like, my mother or father, like, what's wrong? And I can't tell you if anything came out of my mouth because I'm 5 years old. I mean, 5-year-old's pretty fucking young. And my father flips his lid, and after that says we need to deem Kevin as crazy and lock him away. And at this point, I might have been more like 4 to 5, I can't tell you. At this point, my father shows me the movie 1977 Wizards by Ralph Bakshi, and I can even remember him taking me to the movie theater, and it might even have been the movie theater in the fuck, it's gone now. What was it? Sherman Oaks? No. Encino Mall? It's where Cheesecake Factory is now. Sepulveda and Ventura Boulevard. And there used to be a big indoor mall there with like the movie Valley Girl. If I'm lying to you, watch the movie Valley Girl from the 80s. And you'll see them all. Also, fuck, what's the movie with Spicoli? Jesus. I can't remember, with the Surfer Spicoli. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, made in like the 70s or 80s. That mall, the Sherman Oaks? No, not Sherman Oaks. Galleria? Whatever. So that mall and that theater, I think, I'm not 100%, my father took me to see the movie the movie Wizards, 1977, by Ralph Bakshi. That's when he started in trying to make it look like I conformed to media. And when I made it to 8 years old, kissed the black girl, and my father ran around saying I'm a white supremacist, like trying to make me look like Black Wolf. Crazy ass fucking shit. Like, just unheard of. I mean, so when we're talking about people that won't tolerate any type of imperfection, and that's how this all starts, well, Kevin's an evil devil child because he threw mud and water on a car driving by, right? Well, you can't jump to that fucking conclusion and then try to kill your child. And even, like I told Brittany Henderson, even if that was the fucking truth, which it wasn't, let's say I had a little mean streak episode in me at 5, right? Is that really the end of the world, that you have to be hunted by an entire planet, tortured and killed in unheard of, inhumane torture methods with the psychology community, and just horrific pain inflicted on you, and trying to get your brain to just fucking give out and die, or force you into a mental institution because you threw some fucking mud and water in the street and it hit a car? Okay, so the point I'm making is that all these people, and we'll probably, there's actually another, I don't know if you can see him, there's a gray shirt there with horizontal stripes down there, and now they'll say I'm violating their privacy for videoing them, following me here, trying to make me mentally ill for simply leaving my house. Okay, so all these people, here he is, and he has a cowboy hat like me, interesting. So now I'm violating their privacy because I'm talking to a camera and they're showing up, right? Or they might say, well, I was here before Kevin, but they weren't here last week before me, okay? Do you see what I'm saying? They weren't here last week before me, so they might have been here before me today, but they weren't here, it's more like 2 weeks. They weren't here 2 weeks ago when I first found this spot. It's exponentially growing. So once again, we're turning around. We're looking for excuses to justify his action. Now, he could walk up to the car here and say, you just fucking videoed me, you're violating my privacy. And you can't say anything to him because he's gonna say you're crazy, I don't know who you are, right? And so you get the idea that each place I go, larger and larger groups show up. You can't be here, and we're going to torture you and kill you with psychological warfare methods. Since 5 years old, until you finally go, I can't take it anymore, I'm gonna lock myself in a mental institution or blow my brains out or something like that. And then if you tell like someone in the psychology community this is what they're trying to do, they might go, this guy's crazy and he's suicidal, or crazy and he doesn't belong out in society, hence the term gang stalking, community harassment groups, organized stalking groups, based on psychological torture methods to eradicate, execute, kill, you name it, which is now an entire planet to kill one man since 5 years old. But Kevin, you can't talk like that. You can't say the word kill. Well, but that's what it is. And if I say that the police killed George Floyd, I can say that. And if I call the police and say this person's trying to kill me, I can say that. But I can't say this person's trying to kill me with these unheard of methods, because it looks crazy. And that is why the psychology community, police, and government kill this way, because they can get away with it. Just like Rich from the Corvette Connection is trying to get away with stealing my car and all my money by using the system that he knows. Or like the homeless guy they sent in my house when I lived in Boulder, Colorado in the 90s, that knew that he could pay a down payment and not pay rent, and he'd be protected for something like 6 months by law to not be evicted and steal a house and migrate everyone out. This is now being turned around on me somehow by the police. Okay? Now, what were Mike Huntley's words? We are using the system against you. We don't care about law and order, him with the police and psychology community. He, my father, my brother are going to kill me in methods that bypass the procedural system of law and order, constitution, and arrests. And then they'll keep saying, Kevin, but why are we doing this? But Kevin, why are we doing this? Every day, Kevin, but why are we doing this? Kevin, you need to tell me why we're doing this. And I'm supposed to answer you how? That I'm a horrible monster that does this? I mean, should I just say it to say it? And that is what the psychology community is trying to get me to do. What is that? Agree to disagree or whatever, right? I mean, is that what the psychology community is trying to get me to do? Since 5 years old? Yes. And then they're going to go, well, Kevin's crazy. He thinks he did all of these things he didn't do, and we got to lock him away, right? Okay, so you get the idea. Okay, so, but what you need to understand is while we've only seen today 3 or 4 stripers, back in 5 years ago or whatever, like at the Coffee Beans, we would see hundreds, sometimes even per hour, okay? I would go into Coffee Bean, everything's normal. Then the next day, maybe we see 20 people come in with stripes, and then the next day we see 100 per hour come in, and then we see the entire Gateway Plaza, so thousands. They're all, some are going to Ralph's, some are going here, and right now we're not at Woodland Hills. Right now we're on PCH, Topanga Canyon, but we've seen it at Point Magoo. We've seen it at Newport Beach. We've seen it at every beach in the world. I just drove across the United States of America, put 4,000 miles on a car, getting DVR and handheld video of stranger after stranger, verbal harassments from stranger to stranger, to clothing, to cars parked backwards in pairs of twos at almost every parking lot in the world, or in the US, but it really, I'm sure, is worldwide now. And every single person, back to the point, every single person is playing the same card that that guy there Thanksgiving Day did. Hey, you violated my privacy. We're gonna hunt you and kill you. I mean, this time they weren't aggressive like the Long Beach guys. Oh, and then it goes straight to the psychology community and they start hinting about it, showing that they're telling the people to threaten your life. But my point is that I lost my fucking train of thought. Still have a sleep, I guess. Okay, so we have the same thing on video all across the US. back to a guy there going, you violated my privacy by going to a public location, and we all got to get together and torture and eradicate you and try to get you to lock yourself in your house to make you look agoraphobic. And it's not one random psychopath. I mean, the 3 or 4 people we've seen with stripes right now, I don't know who they are. So is their excuse that I'm violating their privacy by being at the beach? And then they'll switch it. Well, you have a DVR in your car. Okay, well, that's not violating your privacy, just as some of these light poles actually have cameras for the police. So why don't you follow the police around trying to kill them, right? Or other people with DVRs, or people with cameras in front of their house, or people with cameras in their store to stop people from committing crimes in their store. They're all violating your privacy, right? That's the same argument. The real argument is you shouldn't give a flying fuck if someone has a DVR in their car if you're not going out trying to kill people, especially that person, because if you're trying to kill that person, he's gonna get as much fucking video as he can until it fucking stops, right? And then my problem is the police run around saying, well, you're causing problems by getting video of people trying to fucking kill you. So I shouldn't have proof of a murder operation to kill me. I should accept it and put on a big happy smile and be positive while being hunted and killed, right? So you can imagine my surprise making it to 29 years old, sitting in an office with Mike Huntley telling me I'm a fucking dead man with the police, government, and psychology community. I don't have the right to exist. Finding out that it links all the way down to 5 years old for absolutely no reason at all, but being like a fucking exceptional person. Now you might say, well, Kevin, just because you're a good person doesn't mean that you're gonna have a good life. And I agree with that 1,000,000%. But what I'm saying is, most good people don't wake up to planetary murder operations that the police, psychology communities, like government, NSA, FBI are involved in, saying you're not allowed to defend yourself or we'll kill you. So we're gonna kill you, and you're not allowed to defend yourself or we're gonna kill you, or try to make you look crazy and force you into mental institutions, and then say you suffer from mental illness, so you shouldn't be out in the streets anyways. Because it all comes back to the same fucking thing at 5 years old. We don't want you to exist. And then the whole scam that you think differently because people like Rich at Corvette Connection is how everything works, and you should kiss everyone's ass and never say anything negative and never do anything but stare at your toes in life, right? Trying to turn you into like a neurotic like my mother, okay? So it's just pure fucking insanity from every direction. But what I have yet to see is anyone just be honest and straight and go, this is all fucking unacceptable. Yes, it is going on. It shouldn't be happening. And I'll stand out with a fucking sign that says, stop George Floyding Kevin since fucking 5 years old, and shit like this, right? Because that's what we're really talking about. Okay? Now, they're gonna make things look like what they want them to look like, but it's blatantly obvious, and I'm just kind of videoing this girl's sweatshirt she's holding, and it has horizontal stripes, and, you know, sure, some of these can be coincidences, and while the psychology community is using this angle that they're trying to make me look like them. Does that make sense? Like, I'll ask these questions by the psychology community like, well, it can't be coincidence because there's no such thing as coincidences. And I'm like, who are these fucking low-life child molesting pieces of shit, right? I mean, how dare they? Fucking, they go out, they launch a worldwide fucking execution. I have like 100,000, I have over 30 terabytes of video. They can't just say we fucked up, okay? They can't just say, Kevin, you turned 29, we thought this and we thought that, we destroy your life and we fucked up. And then they say, well, Kevin, you have to win. Well, I have to win, why? Because I am a pool player, right? What the fuck does that have to do with the tea in China? Okay, so you can see how these character attacks and worldwide disinformation in a million-mile-long rap sheet of fiction is intentionally being designed, just like to Edward Snowden was. Oh, he's a hacker and he doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, he's your top-level fucking programmer, and you're a fucking government of douchebags that go out and hurt, harm, maim, kill, put sleeper agents in networks, saying it's not okay to put sleeper agents in networks, and data mine your entire U.S., everything the entire U.S. does, and illegally turn on and off people's cell phones and do fucked up shit and torture and kill people. And they don't have something to hide. They don't have anything to hide, and there's no possibility that some kid at 5 years old can't be labeled or flagged something that they put a flag on and say, we have NSA level torture and kill tools, or we're watching Kevin Perlman because we think he's crazy on some kind of watch list. Right? No, couldn't possibly happen. I'm crazy. Especially with the endless minute-by-minute proof I have. So, okay, so I'm going to end it there, because I could go off onto 100 million minute-by-minute, 48 years or 43 years of tangents of what we're seeing even now, and on a lot more aggressive. But, you know what, I'm going to enjoy some beach, maybe get some work done here, and get some sun, and that'll make them mad. Maybe even sit on a chair. Oh, and the first time I came out here, I sat out in a lounge chair, like no cameras or anything, listen to music, and a girl walked by, and she said, like, snickering, like, nice setup, and she almost, it seemed like she had a double meaning, like, nice setup, like the chair and the speaker, and the phone streaming to the speaker, but at the same time, she was snickering, like I'm trying to set someone up by sitting on a chair, getting some sun. And so my point is that if I'm violating that guy's privacy by coming to the beach with a bunch of strangers who follow me here, and if I'm trying to set people up, which he didn't directly say, but I've heard it with other things, like, Kevin, you're just trying to set us up or frame us to turn around what they're doing. And that was something Mike Huntley said at 29. He couldn't set me up or something like that. But if I'm trying to set you up by, I'm at the beach on a lounge chair, listening to music, rocking on a little hammocky lounge chair, not talking to anyone, getting some sun, and I'm setting people up. Well, that's not remotely close to possible. I mean, what's the setup? Well, we're going to follow you here and kill you. You set us up. Well, that's not a setup. If you follow me from place to place trying to kill me, you're following me from place to place trying to kill me. There's no setup involved. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So, once again, this diluted thought process that they have, and then they'll say, Kevin, you can't see yourself. I see myself fine. They're just reinforcing. They're reinforcing their own projection of who they are. And they're child molesting criminal murderers that project onto good people like me. And that is that. There is no if, then, but, or else. And why these people are running around like, I got Ronald Barry Perlman's back since Kevin was 5. Well, not only was that 43 years ago, but you don't know the guy. So how do you got his back? You got his back for what? Hey, I'm going to kill my child. I got your back. Kevin, you're not allowed to tell anyone. I got your back. I've never heard of such a thing like that, right? With the psychology community and my father going, Kevin's not allowed to breathe, and everyone's got Ronald Barry Perlman's back to kill a 5-year-old still to this day at 48 years old. I mean, that's totally off the charts of defined of what it is and what it even could be, and that's why it is government flagging, and they're crazy on watch lists, and we're gonna flag and eradicate and execute, and if they blink wrong, we're gonna kill them. Okay, so now I'll leave it at that.